Now, our special guest today is the pioneer of the comedy world. His unique style has helped him become one of the country's most popular performers. Please welcome to Saturday Kitchen. It's the fabulous Julian Clary. Great to have you on the show.
It's all very exciting.
You're excited, are you?
Do I get to join in and help?
You can help if you want. There's cauliflower puree and all that kind of stuff. Are you a big foodie then?
I'm not very good at cooking. That's why I've come here, so you can teach me. That man in the beige, what's his name?
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
I feel you're going to help me this morning, Daniel.
Yeah. He's nervous. Now, of course, at the end of today's programme, I'll cook food heaven or food hell for Julian. It's something based on your favourite ingredient, food heaven, or your nightmare ingredient, food hell. Now, it's up to Daniel and Jason and some of our viewers to decide what you'll be eating at the end of the show. So, food heaven, what would it be?
Well, I was toying with the Savoy, but I'm going to say... I'm going to say mackerel, James.
Mackerel.
Yes.
Mackerel, sounds good to me. It's got to be eaten fresh as a daisy, so what about the dreaded food hell then?
Yes, venison and anything that tastes too strong, you know.
Game sort of stuff.
Gamey taste. I'm not mad on that.
So there you go, it's mackerel or venison for Julian for food heaven. I've got a very quick fish dish in mind, blowtorch mackerel. It's actually cooked with a blowtorch, and the fish is filleted and simply cooked using a blowtorch, and it's simply served with a spicy and sweet chilli jam with creme fraiche and some charred pak choy on the side. Or Julian could be facing food hell, of course. That venison, a dish inspired by the great Indian chef Atul Kutcher. I'm going to pan roast a loin of venison and serve it with a sauce made from ginger, garlic, chilli, coriander, cardamom, and loads of other spices. And finished off with a few tomatoes and some plain boiled rice. How do those two sound?
Where's your blowtorch kept then?
Underneath the counter.
Oh, I see.
That's right. But you have to wait till the end of the show to see which one Julian gets. Now, if you'd like to ask a question on the show, then you can call this number. That's 0330 123 1410. That's 0330 123 1410. And a few of you to put your questions to us live a little later on. And if I do get to speak to you, then I'll be asking you whether Julian should be facing food heaven or food hell. So start thinking. Right, hungry?
Yes, I am quite peckish.
Sounds pretty good to me. Up next is this man. It's the brilliant Jason Atherton. Ever tried cooking anything like this before?
What is it?
Well, try that. That's just that cauliflower.
I like
and
raw
seaweed.
cauliflower. I like the sort of cooking where it's all over quite quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't take up your whole day. Oh, this is cauliflower, isn't it?
Yeah, but just with that seaweed.
Oh, yeah.
You just got that. Put that in the middle. Right. Because it's happened for you quite quickly since you've had your own restaurant, hasn't it? Really, it's just
It has, James. But also people have to remember I've been cooking for 25 years, and I know I don't look old enough, Julian. I know that. Thank you. And so it's been a long time in the making, and spending 10 years alongside Gordon when Gordon was sort of launching his empire, if you like, sort of taught me a lot. You know?
Yeah. It's just olive oil in there.
So.
You didn't pick up Gordon's bad language, then,
No, Julian, no, my mum would never allow it. I come from a good Christian family.
So tell us what this is again.
So we've got roasted turbot, cauliflower cheese velouté with roasted organic carrot, broccoli and cauliflower salad with seaweed salt.
Simple but brilliant. Right, and we get to try this. This is your first one.
Fabulous.
Dive into that. Tell us what you think. Well, it's cooked pretty quick. 6-7 minutes to make.
Is it just me?
No. Just
The pressure's on.
What should I start with? A bit of fish?
bit of fish and the sauce and stuff like that.
Is this your white sauce?
That's the white sauce, yeah.
Looking forward to that.
What cheese have you put in there? What cheese have you put in there?
Clam.
Yeah, but the cheese that you've got in there.
Oh, it's Montgomery cheddar, yeah.
Montgomery cheddar.
Lovely. What would you call this?
Just roasted turbot with organic carrot, cauliflower and seaweed salad.
Just call it Jeffrey, really.
Right, we need some wine to go with this. We said our wine expert Peter Richards. Because normally with white burgundy you'd have to pay a lot more for something as good as this, really, wouldn't you? You know, 20, 30 pounds. This one for £8, a bit of a bargain.
It's beautiful. With the cheese, you're right. It just cuts through the cheese. It's beautiful.
Happy with that?
Very complimentary, the wine and the turbot.
Right, coming up, Daniel has a great recipe for a cold spring weekend. What is it again?
It's a pot roast quail, which I'm serving with a shallot puree, and then we do a little crouton with the quail legs, some grapes, some celery. It's just, for me, it's about brightening up the sunshine because we haven't got any.
How's that sound?
I'd better save myself, hadn't I?
Right. Now, for today's masterclass, I want to answer a letter that I've been sent by Rowena Morgan of London. She says she's frightened of having a go at making egg-based sauces like hollandaise and béarnaise. And really, egg-based sauces are used for a lot of things like mayonnaises. But mainly, hollandaise is done out of these ingredients here. First off, we've got butter. That's the difference between hollandaise and mayonnaise. One's made out of oil, the other one's made out of butter. So then we've got white wine vinegar, a little bit of white peppercorns, touch of shallot and egg yolks, and all these incorporate together to make our hollandaise sauce. But first thing you do is you clarify the butter. Whole block of butter on a low heat, gently cook it, and in here you can see the salts separate out and it clarifies the butter. It's that clear liquid that we want, so we strain that off.
What's that?
That's just a little bit of mint in there I've put in there because I'm turning this into
With the butter?
Yeah, it's a little bit of butter. We just cook that until the salts start to disappear or sink to the bottom, and you've got this clarified butter at the end of it. We use that to make a sauce, so as it cools down. I'm going to get the lamb on here to go with it because you can use hollandaise for so many different things. If you put blood oranges in, it's called a... They learnt this at college. They've forgotten. It's called a Maltese. And if you put mint in, what I'm doing now, it's called a paloise.
What's a béarnaise?
Béarnaise sauce is tarragon, but that's the basis of it. It's a same sauce, but you just add in tarragon to it. So it all starts off as a hollandaise, which I'm going to do now. But paloise is great because it's fantastic with lamb. So I'm just going to put the lamb chops on here, get those on, and start to make this sort of sauce. So we've got the butter clarifying. We then grab some shallots. We'll put some mint in it.
Yeah.
Then we got some shallots, and we basically just chop these up, and we make a reduction. Now you don't have to chop them too fine because we're going to blend this up as well. But the white wine vinegar go in, the white wine goes in, the shallots go in, and the peppercorns. So this is the basis of a classic hollandaise, and you reduce this down to almost nothing. It just goes to what looks like dried out onions in the bottom of the pan, really. And then you've got your egg yolks, which we can separate out. Don't need the white.
Is hygiene important in the kitchen?
I'll wash my hands, yeah. It is. I'll throw those in. Throw the egg yolks in. And then we can start to make this. And it is so simple. And it's a bit like when you're making mayonnaise, all you would now add is mustard, a bit of vinegar, and you would pour in vegetable oil. But to make hollandaise, you've got this butter that has been left with a little bit of mint in. You can add a little bit of mint to this one as well, the reduction. So you're just adding some mint leaves in. But remember, this is for a paloise, that classic sauce to go with lamb. But you're reducing that down all the time. And then we've got this butter here, and all you do is you pour this clarified butter, just carefully, onto the egg yolks. Now the thing is with hollandaise is, once you've made it, you can't put it in the fridge because it'll set. And then when you try to warm it up, it'll split. So if you leave it out, it'll last for a couple of hours before you want it. But you just
how
gradually...
How long will it keep for?
A couple of hours, something like that, yeah. And you gradually keep pouring it. And you can see already it's turning into this sort of hollandaise sauce. But you wouldn't keep it for any more than a day, really, like that. So you pour that lot in. Carefully, just so it stops it from splitting, but you just keep gradually pouring it in. And it starts to make your hollandaise. And then it's what you add to this. If it was just plain clarified butter, you would have blood oranges and turn it into one sauce, béarnaise into another sauce, that kind of stuff to go with it. Now you're about to go on tour. Your tour starts quite shortly. It starts in Norwich, doesn't it?
It does, in a couple of weeks, and then off I go on the road for about 6 weeks doing position vacant, apply within.
Now, do you enjoy it? Because, you know, when out of your career, you've done a bit of everything, really. Is touring something you enjoy? Because you look at the list of dates, there's a lot of dates in there, 31 days.
It's a bit daunting when you do that, but actually, once you're on the road and doing it, it's got a life of its own, and I like it most of all because no one can interfere with me, no one can tell me what to do. You know, it's just sort of me on my own on stage with a microphone.
Because you're great at interacting with the audience. You're great impromptu sort of comedy, dare I say. Is that the basis of this tour? Because
yes.
It doesn't seem to me as if it's going to be heavily scripted. You've got a beginning and end, but the middle bit you can do whatever you want.
It's a search for a husband, so I'm selecting men from the audience and bringing them on stage with a cattle prod, and then they have to perform various things for me to try and win my hand in marriage. And so it's quite anarchic. And then at the end, I marry them with a proper wedding and a bishop and bridesmaids and confetti.
So what are you looking for in your wedding bloke?
He's right here.
I can cook.
How's he look? Do you do it?
Well, I don't know until I see them, really. Clothes are important, I think.
Right.
Your jeans are nice and snug, aren't they?
You like them? I'm losing weight, you see. I'm on a diet.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm on a diet. I don't eat butter anymore.
Is this not very fattening, though, Hollandaise?
Well, apart from the £1.5 of butter going in, but I wouldn't worry about that. But you've got a few beans and potatoes, which classes your sort of part of your 5 a day, but it's pretty all right.
Yeah.
You've got your lamb on here as well. But, I mean, also looking at your career, as well as the tour and stuff like that and stand-up, didn't realise you're such a prolific writer.
Yes, I've always liked a bit of writing. I quite like to divide my life up between being a recluse in Kent and writing books, and then when I get fed up with that, I feel like being in the centre of attention somewhere, so then I can go on tour and
So which one was first? Was you passionate about writing, or was it comedy, or both? I suppose they're both interlinked. But really, the stuff that you're writing is novels. It's not. There is a bit of comedy in there, but there's novels as well.
Yeah.
Which came first then?
Different ways of expressing myself, I guess. But if you'd asked me as a child what I wanted to do, I probably would have said writing. But then one gets distracted and finds oneself being a camp comic and renowned homosexual, and then I do that for a while, and then I write a few books. So I quite like the way my life is organised. You know?
Yeah. And you mentioned your house down in Kent, really, because that's, I mean, wasn't that where Noel Coward lived, was it?
Yes.
He lived there as well.
Yes, he's still, the ghost of Noel is sniffing round the corridors.
And that's given you influence for your new book, so tell us about your new book then.
Yes, well, that's I can't remember what it's called.
Briefs
Encountered. Sorry. There's so much going on, isn't it? How you talk and chop at the same time.
Don't worry about that.
I don't know.
I'm relying on you to remember your book name.
Slightly,
But
I remember what Briefs Encountered, and it's a charming sort of ghost story about Noel and his life in the house that I now live in, and there's a sort of modern storyline as well.
Right.
And there's a bit of filth in there for those that like that sort of thing. Was that all right?
yeah, that's all right. You got it. You got it. You're there. You're there.
Your beans have done to a turn.
I just need you to fill them in while the beans were cooking, you see.
Yes.
So we've got the beans, we've got the lamb here. Now, just to finish off the sauce, you can put just some chopped mint in at the end. Now, often when you're doing these sauces, you can drain off the onions and just have the liquor, really. So you're just using the onions as a flavouring for that sort of white wine and vinegar and that kind of stuff.
I've never heard of a sauce like that with lamb chops.
Well, Pauloise is French. It comes from the village of Pau, or the town of Pau, over in France. It's in the south of France, and that's where basically where the sauce originates from. But
More butter.
yeah, that's what I mean. You're eating it, I'm not.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. But you
I
just
must try not to make a pig of myself. I've got strict instructions.
Right, and then you got a little bit of potatoes on there. See,
Yeah.
mine's more simple than all this sort of cauliflower cheese sauce and turbot and stuff. And then we've got these
kind
lamb
is
chops.
No, he always picks on me. It's because I'm small, Jim.
And then you got the lamb. We've got literally lamb loin and lamb chops on here, but nice and simple. But it's the key to this, I think, and hopefully the bit that you like is this. This is this.
We're going to mix that up a bit, or is it done?
Yeah, I'm not just going to do it like that. Yeah. You want to? Yeah, there you go. Is that all right? Do you want a bit more?
I don't know yet. I don't know if I like it, but I'm sure I will.
Dive into that. There's some
Thank
knife and
you.
forks over there.
Okay.
So tell us the name of the tour. You must know that then.
Position vacant, apply within.
We
Coming
got there.
to a town near you soon. I'm very self-conscious about eating on television.
Go on
Would
then.
you not
Well, I
find?
can tell you, while you're diving in, it officially starts in Jersey, the tour.
Thank you.
And apparently Bexhill-on-Sea and then Dartford.
Oh, it's still... How come it's a bit warm?
Because that's the warm butter that's gone in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it tastes lovely.
Happy with that?
Yes? What shall I eat next?
You can eat whatever you want, right? If there's a skill or a dish you'd like me to demonstrate on the show, or perhaps you need much needed help with the cooking technique and can't quite get it right, go on.
It's supposed to be that pink.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pink. You can drop us a line. We'll try to cover it over the coming shows. You can get all the contact details via our website, bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. Well, do you want a well done bit?
No, as long as you say that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay. It's all lovely.
There you go.
Done
Thank you
very
much.
well.
Thank you very much.